This is day 2 after my hive swarmed. They swarmed yesterday. There's lots of good activity out here. They seem to be doing fine. And on the inside, what they've done is they've created about probably 6, 7, 8, 9 queens inside here. So when they swarm, the old queen goes around and lays eggs inside of what we call swarm cells or queen cells. They're little cells that I'm about to show you that hang off the side of the comb that they build when they know they're going to swarm. Then the old queen takes a bunch of workers and they all leave the hive. And they leave the hive to the new brood and old honey and the old home with all these new queens ready to hatch. They do multiple queens so that they've got backups in case problems occur, because she has to go on a pretty serious mating flight in which she could be eaten by a bird at any moment. So there's plenty of queens in case the first one does not make it. And they tend to hatch at different days, spaced out a couple days at a time, so that the one that does make it back then goes around and kills the other queens while they're still in their cells. If one does happen to hatch, then they will duel to the death. So the cool thing about this is they swarmed, and we can actually see some of the swarm cells that they left through the window. I'm guessing the others are on the other side of the comb, but there's one right here. And this one's interesting because it's not capped. So if you look here, you can see the bees are working on it, and every once in a while a bee will go into it. As you can see, well, no, that was not a bee going inside, but right now they're just hanging out, so they must have just fed her. But they've been going up inside of this cell and feeding the queen larvae there. Pretty soon they're going to cap that cell, and she gets capped at about 7.5 days. So that means that this, there you can see that bee inside the queen cell feeding her. So that means that that queen there is less than 7.5 days old, or less than 8 days old. Now this one is older than 8 days old. This one has a ton of activity around it. It's right in here, so these bees are all kind of circled around it there. And maybe if we give them a minute, they'll move so that we can actually see. What's going on. So the end of this cell is like, oh, right there. It almost looks like the capping is off. Nope, it's not off. The end there, this bee here was standing on the end of it. And when she decides to emerge, which will be around day 16 days after she was born in there as a little egg, she'll chew a circle there. She's hanging upside down, her head is there at the end, and she'll chew a little circle and it opens up the cap. And then she'll emerge. And it'd be really exciting to actually see it happen. But it would also take a lot of patience. She's right there. And these over here, there's these cells that kind of stick out. Like there. Especially right here. You can see those. Those are actually just drone cells. Those are boy bees. There's one. Another boy bee cell right there. The boys are bigger, so they stick out. And when they're ready to come out, they also chew their way out of that little cell. And the honeycomb is full of baby bees capped in cells ready to be born. I don't think they're gonna let us see the queen cell again today. Oh, there's a tip of her. It's pretty exciting. These guys, to me, seem pretty excited that they're soon gonna have a new queen who will go on her mating flight, come back home, make sure that she's reigning as the only queen in the whole hive, and then they will be a brand new colony with brand new genetics.